Hey guys, it's Lexi, I love books, and today I am going to be talking about the movie and the book Love, Simon, or Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. Well, first of all, let's address the fact that I'm in my car right now. I'm not at home, there are people at home, and I want to film this without people near me, so that's why I'm here. I just want to start with a few disclaimers. There's going to be spoilers for both the book and the movie in this video, so if you care about that, or if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, or if you care about being spoiled, don't watch this video. Also, I read the book before seeing the movie, so I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that, like, my reaction, having read the book first, is I think, like, a lot different than the reactions of people that didn't read the book before seeing the movie. I have a huge problem with this movie, but overall, I adore this movie. Overall, like, I can kind of look past the big problem I have with it, and really enjoy it for the really amazing things, the representation it gives, for being the first, like, gay teen rom-com in theaters. It's like, it's amazing, and I really appreciate this movie for, like, what it means, like, for the queer community. Like, it means so much, and, like, I am so happy to have something like this. It's awesome. So, like, I'm really happy about it. But I do have a big problem with it. And I'm really surprised that, like, no one has been talking about this. Like, I saw one other person mention the problem, but they kind of, I don't remember the person that made the video. I'll link it down below if I find it. But there was a person that said they had a huge issue with Blue ending up to be Bram. That wasn't, like I said, I read the book first, and obviously it's Bram in the book, and, like, I knew it was gonna be Bram, so it didn't feel like, a lot of people are saying that the relationship was forced. When I first watched the movie, I didn't feel like it was forced at all. I guess being blinded by, like, having already read the book, like, I already knew it was gonna be him. But looking back at it now, like, I totally understand why people are saying that the relationship kind of feels forced. Like, in the book, we have a lot more scenes of them talking, Simon and Bram talking, and, like, emailing, and so the relationship really develops. And in the movie, since, like, it has to be, I mean, it was like an hour and 45 minutes or something like that. Like, it's a lot of time, but it's not enough time to fully develop a closeted relationship that's not really a relationship. So, I totally understand people saying how they felt it was forced. But anyway, like I said, only one other person talked about it, and they just touched on it. I have not seen any other person talk about the fact that the ending was complete bullshit. Like, everyone loves the ending, and don't get me wrong, I think it's so cute and romantic, and I was, like, really happy, and despite the huge problem that it is, I was smiling, and I was really happy for Simon and Bram. But at the same time, like, no one is acknowledging the fact that Simon, like, forced Bram out of the closet publicly. In the book, Bram never deletes his email, and Simon gets a hold of him, and they meet at the carnival privately. Simon finds out that Blue is Bram privately, because guess what? It's not cool to force people out of the closet publicly. I have no problem that they changed the end. Like, I was just happy this was a movie in the first place, and I'm, like, kind of okay with I'm kind of okay with all the other changes that they made. I'm not, like, mad about any of them. And, like, movie adaptations are usually very different from the book, and I have no problem with that. But just the fact that, like, that was okayed as, like, a good ending. The whole movie is about Simon being blackmailed, and his sexuality being held hostage by a guy who, by the way, has a gay brother. And, like, if you have a gay brother, doesn't matter how accepting you or your family is, you should probably understand that, like, the world is not as accepting as you are. Like, Martin is like, my brother's gay, but doesn't show any understanding whatsoever of, like, the experience of being gay. And that's really concerning, Because if he acts like that towards Simon, like, how does he treat his brother? The whole movie is about Simon's sexuality being held hostage and him eventually being outed publicly against his will. He has no control over the situation. And you would think that after having dealt with that for however many months he was dealing with that, he would realize, hey, I understand that Blue deleted his email and I really have no way of getting in contact with him, but the absolute last thing, the worst thing you could do is post publicly to the Tumblr and be like, hey, like, meet me at the carousel, it's a Ferris wheel. Meet me at the Ferris wheel where the entire school will be watching after you deleted your email, you know, obviously because you didn't really want to be in a relationship with me because I was out, and obviously you were not ready to be out, and you've only come out to your, I think in the movie he only came out to his dad, like, you've only come out to like one person, maybe two. Come out to the entire school for me because I love you. They're not in love. They were just freaking emailing for 7 months. You're not gonna be in love with someone you've been emailing for 7 months, okay? You ain't in love after emailing, okay? And even when Bram comes to the Ferris wheel and, like, outs himself, Simon says, I didn't think you were gonna show up, and Bram says, I didn't either until I started walking towards you. So obviously he's not ready to come out, and, like, they kiss on the Ferris wheel and whatever, so, like, obviously he's okay with it. It doesn't seem like it was this huge struggle for him, but it is not fair of Simon or anyone to expect that of Bram. I know that straight movies have a bunch of issues, but I think they're getting better. Like, straight romance, like rom-com movies have a bunch of issues. Not all of them showcase healthy relationships. My camera overheated just like me. Straight rom-coms have a bunch of problems. And like I said, they're getting better. So it's unfair of me to expect a completely unproblematic gay or queer rom-com straight off the bat. But, like, that was a pretty big fuck up in my opinion. I don't expect it to be perfect, but I'm not okay with, like, that. So that's a huge problem I have with it, and I just think it's not okay. Obviously it's completely different from the book, which is fine, but what's not fine is that it portrays Simon's forced public coming out as horrible, which it is, but then it like then idolizes him for doing the same thing to someone else. And, like, I understand Bram had a decision, like, he could have not shown up, but still, like, even just expecting that of someone is really messed up. And Simon, after having been blackmailed for the entire school year, should definitely understand that. So that was my one huge problem with it. There was a few other small things that I didn't like, but overall, like I said at the beginning of this video, like, I love the movie overall. And I love the book. I like the book more personally just because the relationship is more developed. The ending isn't complete shit. And you know, like, it's all good. So I like the book more personally. But the movie is still really good too. And it's just, it's a really amazing thing that gay teens today can have something like that they can bring their family and friends to and, like, feel included, and, like, that's awesome. Let me just quickly mention a few of the things I didn't like. The first being, what happened to Bram? Like, he's literally the complete opposite in the book. He, like, would never host a party. He's really quiet, very reserved. Like, in the movie, he's, like, Mr. Popular. I also really hated that in the movie they made Leah love Simon instead of Nick. That was weird, and it makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I also really didn't like, what's that guy's name? Cal? The theater guy. Like, literally in the book, the entire book pretty much, Simon is like, it's Cal. Cal is blue. I love him. I'm in love with him. And in the movie, like, he thinks it's Cal for like 0.2 seconds, and then it's over. And then he like has a, like, he fantasizes about kissing Cal in front of the Christmas tree, but like, I don't know, I wanted to see a little bit more of Cal. Also, I really didn't like the fact that the vice principal, the vice principal was so annoying. Everyone like likes him, but I hated him. He was so annoying. But after the lunchroom incident, the vice president calls in Simon and the other gay guy at school and then just assumes that they're dating. And like, it was funny, but like, at the same time, it was left unresolved and no one was like, hey, that's wrong of you to assume. Just because they're two gay guys doesn't mean that they're automatically together. It wasn't a big issue at all, and like, because of the rest of the movie, that is obviously like, the audience can obviously see that that's wrong. But overall, the movie had some really amazing parts that like really hit home. I loved the scene where Simon came out to Abby in the car, because Abby said she wasn't surprised that he was gay, but she didn't know that he was gay, and that just like shows that like she didn't make any assumptions about him. And I love that, and it really normalizes like being queer, and I really like that scene. And I also love the scene where after he came out to his family, his mom, like, he talked to his mom, and she said, and this one like really hit home, she was like, when you came out, you said that you were still the same person, and I think you need to, like, I think I need to remind you that you are still the same Simon, like, you haven't changed. And like, that was just so good. I cried a little bit on that one. And of course the scene with his dad and Grinder, like, that was good too. And then I also liked the scene where Leah is like, why did you come out to Abby before you came out to me? Like, we've been friends longer, do you not trust me? And Simon said, like, it had absolutely nothing to do with trust. It was that it was like kind of easier to come out to Abby because he's known her for a lot shorter of a period of time. So like, it was just easier because she didn't know him as well as Leah and Nick did. And that's why, like, it was easier. And like, I really like that. And I think it's true, like, it's easier to come out to someone that doesn't know as much about you as someone who knows like everything about you, because the person that knows everything about you that you've known for like ever, like, they have assumptions about you, like they assume that you're straight or whatever. It feels more like you're changing for them. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but like, I can't really articulate anything well, but like all of the scenes, all the coming out scenes were like so good. And then the scene where Simon is outed on the Tumblr, I feel like his reaction to that was, it was really emotional, and I feel like it really captured like how wrong what Martin did was, and like how much it affects you. I've heard that like people are comparing this to like Call Me By Your Name, and they're saying that like Love, Simon is not a good movie. Like, you can't compare a rom-com to Call Me By Your Name, okay? Call Me By Your Name, I haven't seen it, but it's like, it's meant to be cinematic and meaningful and like more of like a film, you know, like an Oscar-nominated film. Love, Simon was never meant to be that. It's just supposed to be like a movie to help queer youth like feel good about themselves and be like happy to be who they are, and for like inclusivity in movies and like representation and like normalize being gay or being queer. Like, that's what it's meant to do. It's supposed to be funny and stupid and like something you can laugh at, but can also like identify as something that represents real people in real life who deserve everything else that everyone else does. So you can't compare Call Me By Your Name to Love, Simon. You can't do it. They're not, you cannot equate those movies. They're not on the same level. They're in completely different groups, okay? So if you're going to see Love, Simon expecting another Call Me By Your Name, just don't go see it. Those are my thoughts on the film. Like I said, overall, I really, really loved it, but the ending almost ruined the whole thing for me, but I think it's definitely okay to look over the that bad ending, that unfair and unfortunate ending, because it still has a lot of like really good messages and really important parts that like queer youth have to see, and like just everyone in general. Like, it's a really important movie for like the queer community, but it's a really important movie for everyone else too, because like I said, it's trying to normalize being gay, and that's a good thing. I'm really happy that I get to live in a time where stuff like this is like happening, and I get to like live in that excitement of like, wow, like I can see characters like me on TV and like in movies, and like it's really like picking up. I feel like the industry is really moving toward better representation for not just like queer people, but for everyone, and like I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited to be living in a time where that's really like moving forward. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, you can subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!